come out because he's still going on. It seems like he's still with the African American black slave narrative as well.
Who, Trump?
I think Trump a secret white supremacist to me, man, with Ashtar Command.
Whatever he is, he doing what we need him to do.
Yeah, he doing something.
He doing what we need him to do, whether we like him or don't like him. I don't give two shits about him one way or the other.
Go ahead.
But he doing what we need done. That's obvious, right? So. Because you seeing the systematic shutdown of the entire government.
That's right.
And so they just called all of those generals, all of the top brass in the military to an emergency meeting. Trump also announced that there was what they call hostile cities, vulnerable cities, what he called them. It's a series of vulnerable cities that they got to secure. That's why I keep telling everybody the National Guard coming out, but it ain't got nothing to do with us. It got nothing to do with it. It got everything to do with all them people sitting in the boardrooms making decisions that ruin our lives. That's who they coming to get. Judges, lawyers, politicians, aldermen, senators, all of them. Ain't none of them, especially the ones that's members of the Bar Association. Because they believe that the Bar Association is untouchable because they was chartered out of England. They don't even know that the American military took over Buckingham Palace.
Right.
Donald Trump released a statement the other day about the King of England, and they wanted him to bow. He was like, I don't bow. I ain't your subject. You got me twisted. Right? But he mentioned it because people needed to know that, first of all, if you see King Charlie, it ain't him. It's central casting. He been fried. He got fried when his mama got fried. And both of them still supposed to have been here according to their adrenochrome usage. They were still supposed to be in good health, but they was Gitmo. One of them pale-faced trooper channels, right, showed the death certificate for Queen Elizabeth, and it said on there, executed. And then the location, it say Gitmo on her death certificate. I'm like, come on, man, y'all gonna keep falling for this stuff? And they keep falling for the same banana in the tailpipe, but all of us ain't falling for it. But enough of us is to slow the process. Right? But the process is the process, and we gonna make progress, even if we gotta drag some of us along with us.
Hey, Rob, I've been noticing a lot of the celebrities that were supposed to be on these adrenaline chrome. If you look at them nowadays, they look like they went from looking like a young 20, 30, like if they was 60, they looked at 30 something, young 25. But now, since they ain't got that adrenaline chrome, man, they look like skeletons. They look like, man, like that dude George, that Mexican dude. They said he was on it, and now he looked like, man, a man, like he almost in the grave. Without that adrenaline chrome, boy, they started to look real bad.
Fast. But that's part of a ritualistic occupation of spot. You talking about George Lopez?
Yeah, George Lopez. He looked bad, man, since he ain't got that adrenaline chrome.
I don't know if he was on it or not, but I'll tell you this: if he was, his days won't be long because everybody that was in on it, man. I made a post yesterday. I don't know if you've seen it on Instagram, but it's on my Facebook too. About they got a blood drop right across from the Hollywood sign, right? And that's a message. That single giant blood drop is from DC to LA, right? It's a political satire meets theatrical performance. And the one drop doctrine is what's supposed to tie all of the earthborn together. The ones who was denied rights of ascension from people playing God, making people in laboratories, that's what's the problem. That's the great debauchery that got us set back and gave the devil 6,000 years to rule, because they had to figure out, now how the hell are we going to clean this genetic spill up? There's so many of them. How did y'all let it get this bad? You was never supposed to let it get this bad. And they let it get bad where it was probably close to 1 million of them. And now, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it is what it is. Everybody ain't going to make it. But everybody that make it supposed to be here.
That happened 3 times, bro. They did that genetical spill 3 times with Adolf Hitler he started it, and then you go back to Yaku. You know what I'm saying? Based on Yaku.
Yeah, the Yaku story was the first.
Yeah.
The use of the genetic engineering to create a slave race.
Yeah.
Right, and the remedy is in the story where he said that he would make these people genetically inferior to rule over superior. But the part we always miss is that he left some melanated people in charge, some dark melanated people in charge. His loyalists is what they was calling them.
That's right.
Okay, so now we got this going on. We know that before 8,400 years ago, it wasn't even an albino on the planet. It wasn't in the genome. The lightest you could get is what we call yellow or red bone, right? But the genetic manipulation continued until they came up with what they came up with. And they also inserted animal DNA and chemicals to offset the carbon, like sulfur. So now you can tell they don't look the same, they don't talk the same, they don't dance the same, they don't sing the same. They couldn't sing, they couldn't dance.
That's why they don't got no rhythm, because they don't got no soul.
But when you see them now, you seeing the ones with that drop of blood. Where they get that booty from? That ain't no Caucasian trait. It ain't a pale face trait. Where they get it from? Yeah. But we don't want to talk about that because we want to dismiss all of them as being the ones against us, when all of them was never always against us. It was more people that looked like us against us than it was pale faces. And most of the slave narratives, it was somebody that looked like us that ran the sweetheart swindle on Big Mama. But you can't tell Big Mama nothing, because Big Mama gonna do what she gonna do.
Right, that's right.
And then they gonna drive a wedge between Big Mama and her security nets. So now can't nobody protect her. She on her own. Right? It ain't nothing nobody could do but Big Mama. If Big Mama want to entertain the charlatans, then that's up to her. You can't tell her nothing. All you can do is tell her what the situation is, what they doing, and then she got to make her own mind up. Right? But some of them is good at seducing women, even Big Mama. But if Big Mama don't see what's in front of her and who they cutting her off from, then she the one that's choosing to go into that repeat cycle, because it's another cycle that's being repeated that you're not breaking. Right? So when they came with the sweetheart swindle, what do sweetheart swindlers do? They come in, they woo you with gifts and pleasantries, right? And then they turn around, isolate you from your security, from the ones who can see through their bullshit. They isolate you from them. They tell you that they got out to get you. They not out to get you, Big Mama, but she don't always see it because she's in the moment. When you in the moment, you can't see 2 weeks from now. That's why everybody always tell you to live in the now. Just because you living in the now don't mean you can't anticipate based on events what's about to take place. That's called extrapolation of events. It's part of the natural nature of the human to say, okay, last time I went down that street, it was a hole down there. I got two options. I can go see if the hole's still there. That'll be inconvenient. Or I can go this other way where I know it ain't no holes and I'm going to get to my destination. But when the money come, snakes come out. Right? When the bank get unlocked, the serpents rear their head because they smell the money. And Big Mama sometimes act like a little girl because she still got an inner child. And that inner child is who the seducer is trying to woo. So the seducer seduced the inner child, which is her innocence, and use it to leverage against her, to subjugate her. And this is where this plantation narrative comes from. So now that we got all of the security away from them, now we got to put what we call a decoy in its place. So they go out and they hire these pale-faced plantation managers, and then they give them fornication rights because King George said it, or King James said it was cool. If any way you need to spread that drop, get that drop of blood, you get it. Right? So when they do this, we don't realize that Django was the Cherokee in the house, and Samuel L. Jackson was the Huguenot, or the gentry, or a conquistador. He was one of them. Coming with his flashy suits when he first came, he was dressed like Django. But once he got rid of Big Mama, she ain't nowhere around. Where she at? Right? And now he got to try to, who that nigga on that man? That ain't no regular, who that nigga on that man? Right? So we sitting here watching the reenactments through Hollywood. They telling us what's going on without telling us what's going on. If we know history enough, we can see the story play out in theatrical portrayals in Hollywood, in political satire in D.C. They all telling the story. DC just responsible for writing it down, and Hollywood is responsible for putting it on the big screen. Right? So it's in all their literature. They wrote about the conquest of the Americas. They didn't come over here friendly. These people don't belong here. Your judges, your lawyers, your prosecutors, your police, all of those are agents of the Crown of England. And their days is numbered.
Hey, Rod. Now this next one, gonna be getting at. Gonna be my question about how they played the TP. He got a good question there. Now he pointed out that this foreign government, connected back to Britain, is in control of keeping whatever's under the Smithsonian Institute secret. Why would that be? And why would the government be helping some foreign entity out when they supposed to be against in the Constitution against foreign government?
To us, the United States is foreign, operating on our land. But to the colonizer that came, and later the immigrants that followed, the United States is supposed to be the United States. Right. It's Turtle Island. Right? Now, when you realize that they foreign, when you talk about British banknotes, right? You're talking about the Crown of England.
Right.
We're talking the mortuary. It's a place you store dead people. Right. And this is where you get your mortgages from. Your mortgages are issued out of the mortuary, which is the crown of the one who performs autopsies. Right. Shout out to Gaddy Boy for dropping that. He was on point with that one. And I was like, whoa. But anyway, the civil mortis status is the general status of anybody that comes into the war zone. You automatically declare dead in the war zone because you might not make it out. We lost a lot of good soldiers, right? But so we lost so many good soldiers. We kept raising soldiers and wasn't raising no generals, no lieutenants, no captains, no admirals. We wasn't raising none of that, none but just straight raw soldiers. And Elijah told us, force and power without direction is total destruction.
Mm-hmm.
And you see it in our community because all our communities look like Warsaw after World War II, the ghetto.
Right.
Right? So all of this foreign interest, because the war had to be contained. Only reason they concerned about foreign interest is because if these natives don't know they not Moors, dirty Moors, I have to correct that. Yeah, if these natives don't know they not the dirty Moors, then they gonna be the ones lose out.
Yeah, our state go back to us.
If you listen to Hakeem Bey, he's telling you his organic original status and his birthright as a chief on the land in his lectures.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then he talk about the rituals he used to do up in Central Park that caused the catalyst of something to happen to him that woke him up to the fact that he was from over here. Noble Ali don't say he came over here from Spain or Portugal. He said he was born in one of the Carolinas.
Yeah, North Carolina.
Right? And then he got going a step further. He was a certified Cherokee chief that was recognized under the Cherokee Confederacy.
Right.
And he had a right to execute the Cherokee Constitution over the U.S. Constitution. Just like when it's a rightful Gullah Geechee, they got a right to assert the Commonwealth Constitution, which we call Articles of Confederation, that was the Confederation of I'm getting brain locked. Iroquois Confederacy.
Yeah. I was about to say it.
It was the Iroquois Confederacy in the rebel flag. It wasn't called the rebel flag. Right? And the Old Glory wasn't even created yet. Right? Old Glory is the war flag. Old Glory is not the peace flag. The stripes go up and down on the peace flag, horizontal. They go vertical on the war flag. Right? So then you have the Admiralty flag, which carries the tribunals of the law of the seas. And this is what they enforcing in the war zone. Right? But we sank their battleship when they was trying to sink ours.
All right, I'm gonna roll this next one. But then he was saying this. I got a couple questions off of that part. Now my first part is, before 1492, several groups, we had contact with several groups that we know of, and it might have been more. But we know that Ho Shin came over about around the 300s on the West Coast. And we know that Mansa Musa, which they don't teach us in school about Mansa Musa, who sailed over in 1310s, him and Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr came first, and then Abu Bakr actually stayed over here, from what Doc said in the Let's Set the Record Straight book. And then Mansa Musa came over here looking for him. And he actually mixed in with some people over here. But they cut it off. So he's saying that the Smithsonian Institute wanted to cut this off, cut that information that predates any contact with foreign people or any Africans or anybody else. They wanted to start it from 1492, and it goes wrong with the church, the doctrine of discovery in the church. It pretty much ties into the doctrine of discovery and what he just said about it's connected back to the church. So my question to you is, why would they want us not to know about these prior encounters with foreign other people in America before them, before Christopher Columbus? Yeah.
Okay, the first thing is we got to pay attention to a particular word. The word was homogeneous.
Okay.
Which means that they just naturally developed somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Now, the general that they put over the Smithsonian's complaint is that they are trying to make it seem different than what it was. Remember, I told you that there was the archaeological studies over here and are less than 200 years old.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Now, in the video you just played, he gave you a 100-year stretch from 1790 something to 1890 something before they even started doing any archaeological and anthropological research over here.
Right.
At that time, they already had the out of Africa theory.
Yeah.
Now, when they take away anything before 1492, that erases all of the stuff they keep finding.
Right.
They can't incorporate that into the literature and the doctrines because the Adam and Eve story, the Popol Vuh, is older than the Adam and Eve story.
Yeah.
It was word for word passed down until some Catholic priest told the Mayan priest that he had to put it in writing because we're going to kill your ass. And there ain't going to be nobody else to pass it down. So they wrote it down, and then it wasn't originally available to the general public. It was kept in the church archives. The church released it, I think, in sometime in the 1900s. Right? But they had it recorded for almost 100 years. Right? So when they take away the fact that, like I've been saying the whole time, we've been marrying Africans on the Eastern Shoreboard for thousands of years. The royal families from over there would marry in the royal families from over here. That's why we didn't have the same effect that the European royals had when they was doing incest.
Right.
Because we was incorporating each other's outside blood all the time. Recycling the diversity in the genome. This is why you got everybody's genome over here. It ain't just because of the colonization migrations. This has been going on a long time. Only people that used to come here didn't come hostile until Columbus came.
Right.
And so they cutting off everything before the hostilities begun to tell us that's the history.
Yeah.
So it takes us back to what was we doing in 1491 then.
Right. Same thing.
Right. I'm gonna tell you what we was doing. We was juking, we was crip walking, we was bee walking, we was hoover stomping. That's what we was doing. We was rain dancing, controlling the weather.
Right.
We was farming the land. We was talking to the animals. We was talking to the birds. We would send the birds to deliver the messages to the people